Hello and welcome to Eye of the Storm. This is a game between Slin and Voodoo, and if you've seen the last video I've uploaded, I meant to redo an old game that I've uploaded a video where the quality wasn't that good, but the game was one of the best ones in history of Supreme Commander Forged Alliance, and this is the one. Unfortunately, I was tricked for about the first 10-15 minutes because the game was still similar between Slin and Voodoo. Once again, Cybran up on top for Slin, going second air. 6 pigeons, and of course later on I realized it wasn't quite the same one, although that one was also a really nice game. I think people enjoyed it. Here we see Voodoo going second air as well, so both players are really not changing up their builds. I think one difference is there's now 8 pigeons. It's a pretty power heavy for second air. Not really sure if that's what Voodoo did in the last one, but a very minor change. But it's a good sign that players don't really change up their builds. Well, not really a good sign. It just means that they really like these builds. You don't want to find yourself after losing a game against somebody trying to improvise a second one just to trick them, because you'll most likely lose. Stick to what you know, and then just outdo them in the small things, because it's really the small details, and I think this is what the game will show us. It's an overall huge battle, but the really small events inside the battle completely shift things, and it really shows just how pretty awesome this game is. It's really small decisions. One soldier somewhere in the field wins the battle for you, although it might not be apparent in the big picture. So now we see hunters coming out onto either side, engineer to the middle for Slin, and it's going to be very interesting what comes out of the second air factory, Voodoo. So Voodoo last time he went with a transport, went to the left with the transport, and did the unusual with the ACU going to the top. And he's going with the ACU to the top this time again. He's going to try to challenge the cybran ACU at the top corner. It worked out very nice for him last time, so he's going to do it again. I'm actually saying this as if they played that game before or this one. It might have been reversed, but I'm uploading this one after. Well, it's kind of a sandwich. We're not seeing Navy from Slin, so once again 1, 2, 3 land, air, Navy for Slin. He wants all the capabilities, and very similar, Voodoo doing the same thing. This is a difference. So Voodoo deciding that Navy is going to be quite important for him. Hunter moving down, be a very important hunter. An engineer picking up a rock, a couple mass extractors. Up on top a similar hunter. And last time Voodoo, when he sent this engineer to the middle, he ran into trouble. This was spotted by first interceptor, and here comes a bomber. And this engineer is not going to be in trouble. Meanwhile, we see this transport once again just gets out in time. If Slin went second air, this would have been big trouble for Voodoo. Very nice timing here with the hunter and the 4 engineers that are going to be dropped off. We're going to see a first real battle of this one. Engineers are going to try to maybe chase now, because the hunter has to respect 4 engineers. If it gets in the reclamation zone for engineers, it'll get reclaimed very quickly. And this is very funny here. This bomber got 2 kills, killed his engineer and Voodoo's engineer. So totally no man's land in the middle because of those bombs. Some friendly fire. There is usually no friendly fire in this game except for bombers. So it looks like here 2 engineers were killed off by this hunter. One of the Engis built the point defense. That's 250 mass. And actually this hunter is on a rampage here. And 250 mass this early on. Actually it looks like Voodoo just reclaimed a rock. But overall that 250 mass is huge in terms of his eco. It's a huge effect by this hunter. A whole bunch of Engis, now 3 engineers, not going to get a mass extractor, and forcing an early point defense. Meanwhile this bomber, after killing his own engineer and one of Voodoo's, kills off another Voodoo, so he kind of redeems himself. He's now above par. Another drop from Voodoo. This Voodoo playing almost identical, except he's also putting Navy, and he's got submarines coming out. There is a frigate coming from Slin as well. And now this bomber from Slin, given the recon that this hunter has provided, he can come in, and if this land factory is going to be finished, but if you can pick off this engineer, slow down the construction of these factories, it'll be very nice for Slin. And once again, Voodoo. This is surprising that Slin with superior, well, Similar interceptor numbers, 5 interceptors for Voodoo. But these transports dropping with impunity, really no problems whatsoever. And here there were some opportunities. One engineer just walks into a bomb, but looks like the Tech 1 mass extractor is targeted. That's surprising. Engineers should be targeted in this situation. Here comes the frigate against some subs. That's why Eye of the Storm is such a great map. You get to see all three parts of this game. You see air, and here these engineers should be dead, and that would be a big problem. Instead he's just bombing the mass extractor. You see Navy, where the frigate is going to be countered by the subs. Frigate pretty ineffective, although it did get one kill. Successful drop once again for Voodoo. Gets a point defense. Going to get 5 land factories right before the engineer gets here. Slin's trying to get there as quick as possible. Looks like once again Slin does not realize he's walking into a really bad situation. He thinks everything is cool. It's an empty position he can occupy, but he's going to find an ACU point defenses and factories. Middle still no man's land, and this bomber has been bombing for a very long time. Finally kills the mass extractor instead of decimating all these engineers. So it looks like Slin not really paying attention. A big opportunity lost. Meanwhile, this hunter, this is ridiculous. It's 4 kills. He's got 3 engineers. This will be the 4th engineer. He's already got a mass extractor. Probably kill another mass extractor. No response whatsoever from Voodoo. Voodoo now just a straight up submarine spam, and a Tech 2 submarine from Slin, and the early Tech 2 Navy from Slin. That will have a big effect on his eco. Looks like he's just got enough power. A very nice eco actually. Oh, some power problems. But this hunter, 6 kills now. Total domination on the bottom for Voodoo. Many factories. Meanwhile, Slin has just run into a point defense. Also some arty going halfway on the health, and Voodoo is trying to set a checkmate here. He knows that he won the naval battle against the frigate, and he's got a whole bunch of submarines, so he feels probably pretty good. He just forced Slin's ACU into the water. He should have more submarines than Slin. Even if Slin sends one Tech 1 sub, he should win it, and Slin will die to submarines in the water. But he will get surprised once he realizes there's a Tech 2 sub coming from Slin. But a very critical Tech 2 submarine. You can see Slin not getting shot. And this is one of the better submarines in the game. Of course, it's stealthy. It's not stealthy, of course, when it's in visual range. And these subs are going to die very quickly. And Voodoo, chasing Slin, decides better. He's going to run back on dry land. Meanwhile, the bottom, total control. Still nobody in the middle. But this hunter has denied so many mass extractors. Voodoo's eco really suffering because these mass extractors still not capped. All the mass extractors up on top capped by Slin. Slin also getting a couple Tech 2s. 3 air factories making spam. And no surprise, 3 kills for this Tech 2 submarine. See immediately response from Voodoo here, minute 8, minute 9. He's got one more Tech 1 sub, and he's going to go straight to Tech 2. In this situation, when you see when you're playing UEF and you see a cybran Tech 2 sub, you got to get torpedo boats as soon as possible. Torpedo boats not that expensive. As you can see, you first need to get a factory going. Tech 2 factory, and one of these, 900. You can make that in 3 minutes under regular circumstances with no assist. And here comes a drop from Slin. Slin decides better not to drop that. He got to get the middle, it's free. And a big land spam coming from Voodoo. That's a bunch of strikers and artillery. Really not enough mantis to put up a fight. Very similar situation up on top. Slin trying to get some land factories going, but he invested so much into this navy that he really didn't have the mass to create enough land to counter Voodoo. Voodoo, you could say with map control, but really the hunter ruined that. Has been mostly putting his mass into land, although now he's putting quite a bit in the navy. And going with a destroyer, and I really disagree with this choice. Destroyers take quite a bit longer to build, more expensive, and actually countering a submarine. But of course Voodoo is probably thinking that there might be a destroyer coming, and in that situation he will need his destroyer. But interceptors coming in now from Slin, and Slin is looking to take air control, and with air control this will make things really difficult against the navy, and a cruiser coming in from Slin as well. So really a torpedo boat followed by a bunch of frigates would have countered this navy. A destroyer that takes forever to build. Right at this point, torpedo boat would be finished halfway on a destroyer. it would kill that submarine. Meanwhile, absolute devastation on land. Good use of Artie here, just snuck in here. He's going to take that mask ejector. Voodoo, together with the ACU, marching toward Slin's base, and really the days accounted for this base. Doesn't look like there's too much response from Slin. Although without Tech 2 there's not much you could do. Although Tech 2 engineer with some Tech 2 point defenses could be a good idea. We're seeing this naval factory. This is just shore getting shot directly. It doesn't look like it's going to be finished. That's huge problems. Meanwhile, it looks like this drop was successful. A couple mask ejectors captured. The middle belongs to Slin. The hydro is going to be attacked. And that's all the power for Slin is here. All of his power generators, 35 power generators and 75 mass. Whatever that is, it's about 1800, 1725, I believe. Probably got that wrong. Mass, that's a lot of mass invested in power. That's about to lose. Point defenses. And there goes the Tech 2 naval factory. So much mass invested, but really didn't pay off for Voodoo because this Tech 2 naval factory. And now the main base for Voodoo, multiple Tech 2 mask ejectors, is in danger of getting wiped off the map. Another cruiser built, and Tech 2 engineer now for Slin. That's a very important Tech 2 engie. And Slin in this situation, when you see shit hitting the fan, as it is very much inside Slin's base, you got to get power somewhere else, 'cause that's the only place he's got power. So he's making power in the middle. He's currently at 410, and he's going to be losing his power very quickly here. See this cruiser trying to help out, but you really need an experimental or a whole bunch of Tech 3 tanks to stop something like this, or a whole bunch of Tech 2 point defenses. 12 kills on the frigate. Surprisingly not targeting the base directly. Slin's ACU also moving down into Voodoo's main base, and now we can see power problems. No more mass here, and he's only at plus 90. And you can see how crucial these power generators are. Out of 90 power, this is 80. This is basically his entire power production. And if he would be at 10 right now, this game would be over. There's no way you can come back from plus 10. He would lose a lot of times trying to get power somewhere. We can see now Voodoo trying to get into the water, a whole bunch of Tech 1 submarines. He's also making some up on top. He's making trying to get in the Navy on 3 different points. Slin does the right thing, splits up his Navy. He's got one Tech 2 naval ship in each corner. The cruiser is taking out Tech 2 mass ejectors. Big losses for Voodoo, but Voodoo completely in control of land all around, except of course for a couple engines here trying to get a factory going. Voodoo's in Slin's ACU. Here we see the Tech 2 sub is going to try to deny naval production for Voodoo. Voodoo sitting at 1,000 power, so that's a lot more than Slin. 83, well, it's some reclamation. You got 5,200 reclaim plus 34 mass. Slin 14 mass and 200 power. So these power generators are extremely good. And one thing to note is that Slin did have air control, because if Slin did not have air control, he doesn't have it anymore because nobody has air. A couple bombs here would end the game. You can see now Slin picked up a couple mask ejectors, all followed by an engineer from Voodoo. This is pretty cool. An engie following the ACU is just going to capture these. Saying thank you for Slin for building them. Slin's going to try to get a factory. He's going to try to establish control over Voodoo's main base. He would be getting more Tech 2 mass ejectors in this corner, but this naval production being denied by this submarine. 8 kills in the sub. And up on top, another submarine, 24 kills already. An excellent submarine, 1,000 mass invested very well here by Slin. But there's still another place where Voodoo is trying to get into the water. A naval factory going up for Slin here, minute 15. Slin desperately trying to get a factory, but huge mass problems. Take him a long time to build that. He might as well just do some reclamation. 52 kills on that cruiser. I believe that's the first cruiser in the game. So you can see at this point, very different from the game we saw before. In that situation, Tech 2 Navy was Tech 2 Air was successful for Voodoo. Voodoo didn't lose air like he did in this one, and he was able to counter some of the Navy with torpedo bombers. And of course Slin never lost his main base. Very important drop here into Slin's base for Voodoo. He's going to get some factories going, get some reclamation. You can see Slin here picking up some mass. No problems. There's such huge chunks of mass here. You should never have should never be stalling. In the middle, tech to power will be very important. Also some tech to mass extractors and upgrades. And once again, Slin stalls. He needs to just get more mass from reclamation. In the bottom corner, cruiser with 34 kills together with the submarine. And here, see this tech to sub has realized that Voodoo is trying to get into the water. And here, this is where the stealth is so useful. There's no Voodoo has no idea that there's a submarine here until he just sees torpedoes coming out of nowhere, killing off his units. Voodoo's ACU meanwhile is sitting here in the corner thinking about what to do next. Really all he needs to do is capture as many mass extractors, go tech to air, and start countering these ships, because it's going to be very difficult to get into water. He's going to be trying doing it in different positions, but with 4 tech 2 naval ships it'll be very difficult. Instead, air factory somewhere hidden, and here it is. I should just be watching the game. Tech 2 bombers coming up for Voodoo, and those have a chance to completely turn it, because if Slin starts losing his tech 2 ships, this game is going to be over. Slin now got his factory, doing some more reclamation. Slin plus 9 mass, absolutely devastating eco here. Plus 18. He's got a couple tech 2 mass extractors. He's got enough power though. He's got his tech to power. Now he needs to get more engineers and an air factory in the middle now. He's got that planned. This cruiser with 53 kills. And this is engineers from Slin. I'm not really sure where they... I think they just walked. Yeah, they walked from the middle. So Slin is going to try to get a base going in this corner, protected by a cruiser. There's another engineer here for Slin up on top getting mass extractors. But this really has become the main base for Voodoo. He is not going to come with torpedo bombers, and if air control goes into Voodoo's favor with tech 2 air, this game could be over very soon. And this submarine, 34 kills. Quite tragic. Also, this is a naval factory tech 2 trying to get another cruiser. So 2 cruisers and a tech 2 sub is all that's left. Of course, it's very important, if you want to get a tech 2 EEF submarine, you gotta have other units next to it so you can spot it. So here, the only reason it died is because it was in visual range of this frigate. For example, this submarine cannot be seen by Voodoo, so you can't target it. But of course, Voodoo can easily target the cruiser just by spotting it. And now more land units moving down, preventing these engineers from establishing a base. You can see Voodoo major power problems. Yeah, Voodoo is trying to spam air too much, forgetting about power. He did not rebuild power well enough. And here it looks like some problems. Slin. Yeah, Slin is trying to establish a base. He's making air factories. Another engineer trying to get into the water. There goes the tech to naval factory. But here come the cruisers. They're coming in together. 103 kills on one, 72 on the other. And 2 cruisers together is better than 1. So much more air damage, and they will target the torpedo bombers preferentially. And those are precious torpedo bombers. You don't want to lose them for nothing. You want to get them to kill these cruisers. Very nice position here, putting a whole bunch of land between the cruisers. You can see some of these torpedoes make it through. I believe at least some of them hit the land and didn't make it. And they don't really get more than 1 pass, and we can't expect much more torpedo bombers. You can see now Slin switching, Voodoo switching to some more power production. If he didn't have those major power problems, he'd have a lot more torpedo bombers, but power really screwed him here. He's also got a pretty big power spam here in the corner. And now the land, Voodoo's going to try to reestablish land control just by using his formerly victorious forces. They first went to the top. Now they're making the march all the way back down. Slin's trying to get a base, but it'll be very difficult for him, although he does have ICU 31 kills. Another naval factory for Slin. And now Slin is going to come in with his cruisers, both still alive, deny the Navy from the top. And Slin got to be careful here. 40 kills. Well, that looks like he should have enough. There won't be enough units unless he stands still to kill the ACU. But up on top, another major force is going to come in, wipe out all these mass extractors. And once Voodoo gets his power figured out, still having problems, and mass problems as well. It appears that Slin has caught him up in terms of eco. He's got more power because of this Tech 2 power generators, plus hives, and making quite a bit of interceptors. Slin with a successful defense on the bottom, but he's going to have problems through the top as well. If we remember where he got that Tech 2 engineer, right before this Tech 2 naval factory would have been destroyed, he made that Tech 2 engineer, marched it to the middle, started Tech 2 power, and actually now Slin has more power than Voodoo. And now interceptors, and that's tragic. Those are precious Tech 2 planes there from Voodoo, getting absolutely wiped out by Slin. Slin re-establishing control of this game, although Voodoo absolutely is dominating land. And here Slin could get himself in trouble, although it looks like these tanks are not going to shoot his ACU. But a long stream of units. If Slin gets trapped here and it can't get into the water, he could be in trouble. 71 kills. Meanwhile, this cruiser with 131 kills is going to end the Tech 2 air production. See, this cruiser is going to end Voodoo's base inside Slin's former. Very important power generators here as well for Voodoo. 20 kills for the remaining Tech 2 submarine, and more cruisers coming out now for Slin. Slin able to get into the water, 76 kills. Total loss of Voodoo has reestablished control here on the bottom of his main base. His land troops have been absolutely devastating in this one. Everything else has been quite disappointing. 149 kills. Here, minute 24. Tech 1 air factory making gestures, and it appears that air control is now firmly in Slin's well, it's under Slin's control, which is not surprising given how much more power he has because of this Tech 2 power generator. And of course with cruisers, any air fights very much shifted. Yeah, these engineers are running away. They're gonna abandon this position. Slin's gonna get an upgrade, perhaps stealth. And now these gestures together with air control are gonna be devastating all over this map, because all these units are unprotected against air. Another attempt to get into the water is going to be denied. 25 kills for this Tech 2 sub. 111 kills. And, you know, the best of them all, this cruiser, also repairing some aircraft, refueling them. 156 kills. Whole bunch of engineers moving down, while a whole bunch of tanks moving up. As soon as Slin gets that upgrade, he can come back out because the tanks have left. Successful Tech 1 submarines from Voodoo. We're going to try to kill this naval factory, but of course this Tech 2 sub should take care of the problem. And Voodoo really running out of ideas. He had many chances to win, and power and air, of course, and Navy this whole time. But if he would have just lost Navy, it wouldn't have been a huge problem. But he also lost air, and later when he had a chance to regain it, he lost his power. But of course, it's real difficult to have power control when you got cybran cruisers shooting you. And here come the gestures. They're going to start chipping away at Voodoo's map control. Voodoo's sitting here making more mass extractors. Voodoo, major power problems, and now he's going to find himself getting shot. And of course, running into the water for Voodoo is not an option. He is going to try to get some flak, take one flak. Still has major armies. Some pretty big veterans in this army. And Voodoo can't even make an anti-air turret because he doesn't have the mass for it or power. And after 27 minutes, more jesters coming in plus cruisers. This is really one of the better games in the history of Supreme Commander. A Tech 1 unit is going to end it, the Jester, and I think that really speaks about why tiers are so great. Tech 1 units are great the whole time, and Tech 3 units are also great. And really huge thanks for Slint to come back. I hope he can give Voodoo a couple rematches in the next few days.